How do you know if you should be buying a pullback or if you should be selling the bounces? Stay tuned and we will dive into that today. Welcome to Day Trade Like a Pro. This is the review for Tuesday. And here we have our prediction points. We have these two blue lines up here. These are what we call CPAs, and then we have the KP at 82. And then we also have this prediction point. I think this is actually a CPA. I like how I did orange on this review chart, but this was the, hop back over here and look. So this was from yesterday. This was yesterday's prediction point down here. So a little after midnight Pacific Standard Time, we traded down to this prediction point to the tick. And then we said that this morning, that was the prediction point from yesterday. So we came back down and used that. So that would likely be good enough. Now coming into the morning, there's these green lines that I've put on here. And these were prices that we gave in the live trade signals. So you'll see this is really 32.79. And then we had 32.77 quarter. Now, full disclosure, the way we put this in the live trade signals was we said 32.7775 or 32.77 quarter. So we gave two ticks here. And the top tick was here, and the bottom tick was actually the bottom of this move right there. So I want to walk you through, essentially, let's start here from the beginning. We're looking at a 5-minute chart. And this morning we said we were looking for a pullback, that it might only pull back here to this 32.82 area, which was our KP. But we also said that we had 79. And then we said we had these two prices down here. And then we said that really below this, we said ideally this would hold. And the kind of worst case scenario for that whole thing would be that if we could hold below the Globex low or hold above the Globex low at 75 quarter. So that was back over here what we showed you. So we said ideally we would hold up here. Worst case we would hold here at the next prediction point. So what does that mean? It means the morning starts, we open up here, we trade down to the prediction point. There's an opportunity to buy here at 82. It probes it by 2 ticks and then comes all the way back up to 86.50. So about 4.5 points right there. Came back down. And this thing hung around here for a while. So an important principle I want to teach you here today is that if, and one of the members asked this question, is how do you know if you should be buying a price multiple times? So this for me, I would have been out of this trade right here. When this came down, went up, came back down, and then I'd have been out here, but then I would have gotten back in again here, and then I would have gotten back out again over here. Then I could break that down and do a smaller time frame. I'm not going to go through that tight of trade management right now, but I do want to give you an idea of how I'm looking at this. So when this traded down, when this area of support doesn't hold, then the next area of support was what we said down here at 79. So if this area doesn't hold, I'm looking for support down here at 79. So it traded down to 79, that held, and then traded back up above this KP, and then traded back down below it right here, or to it. It did probe it by 3 ticks, which is no problem. So one of the things that we talked about in one of the prediction point videos that you can go look at on the YouTube channel under the trainings is that right here, we'll put a link in for that right here. But right here, it did trade below this, but when it comes back up above, it's kind of a reset. So I'm not going to go through that because you can go watch the other video and see how that works. But basically, this is a buy opportunity down here. And when it traded back up here and back down to it over here, this is a buy opportunity. Now, there's another buy opportunity right here which matches that low right here. And so some people might say, yes, this is Essentially, this is the second time right here. This is the second time it's used this prediction point on this move up. It traded from here up to here, traded down to it, and then traded up, and then traded back down to it, and then went from there. Now, as a general rule, the more times it will do comes down, comes up, comes down, comes up, comes down, comes up, the more it does that without breaking below it and trading back, the more times it does this, the less attractive a trade becomes at this price again. How many times can it really use it as support? So when we use this area as support right here, and we used this area as support, so we used this and we used this. And then on the way up here, we came up to this prediction point 93.75. We probed that to 95, so 5 ticks. This actually was a valid short. No problem with going short up here. This was China news. Convenient that it happened basically right at our prediction point up here. And then this big sell-off, also convenient that it stopped here 2 ticks in front of our prediction point and then bounced back up. I mean, this is a big wick. So this is a 10-point trade right here. If you got long right here, this is a 10-point trade right there. And then another opportunity to get short up here. And so it's already used this support. It's already used that as support. What's the next level of support if I'm buying a pullback? And we said that 77.25 ideally would hold for buying. That's right here. And so if I drew something like this, and we said above here, and I'm going to really exaggerate this, that above here we're buying, it never traded below here. Now if it trades below that and breaks our Globex low, we could become sellers. But so how do I know if I should buy here or here? So should I have bought here again when it came down over here? Well, it used it over here, so it's more risky. Should I buy 79 again? Well, it used it over here, so more risky. So where would it likely go next? Well, down here to this area, which is exactly what it did. Now, when it trades back up above here, this is a reset over here. And then we traded down here to the 79 area again. And again, we used this a couple of times. And today is much more of the exception than it is the rule for prices being used multiple times. And ideally on a trade like this was right at the close, so it came down here. Ideally, you're going to use this, trade up here, come back down to it over here, and then move from there. So just like this. Trade down here, trade up here, hold here, move. But all great buying opportunities. Yes, you could have shorted up here. There was some opportunity, plenty of opportunity on both sides today. But we said above here, it's buyers. And that means we're buying pullbacks. So it comes down, we use this, we use this. If whatever area we're using as support, which I would say would be this area again. So once we break up above here and get this run, we really don't want to come much lower than that area right here. And then we traded below it, we traded back up to it. And then we used this area of resistance over here, right over here. But that's for another day's video. But what happened was we traded down here. We're not necessarily looking for it could make sense. And obviously we did get a big push up here, 10 points from that. But ultimately we're looking for it to come down to this next price. Get long, it came up. Am I buying here? I could buy here because it's a possibility that this could hold as support. But it could also trade down to here. And then I don't know what this looks like on a shorter time frame. It wasn't trading right here. But this could have absolutely been a valid buy to come when it came up and came back down. That could have absolutely been a valid buy here. So we want these to kind of use it. We want the market to use these in sequence. So here we are long. Let's use this one. We're long. And then we're long. And then when it broke down here, we're long. And then it came down here, we're long. And then if in a smaller time frame, there may have been an opportunity to buy here. So we're looking for, did it gap from that area. See, it never came back up. This is a good example. It never really came back up here and tested this. And I mean, it did come back up to this area and hung around in this area, but it wasn't smooth. What would have looked a lot better, I'm going to move this, but what we really want to see is we want to see it break a price and then do something like this. So we break the price, we trade, we break through this right here, and then we come back up and we test it right here. That's really what we're looking for. And we didn't get that over here. It's a little trickier. But that's ideally, that's what we're looking for there. So hopefully that helps. And if you have questions, feel free to write them here, or you can, of course, always email us support@daytradelikeapro, and we'll answer any questions that you have. So that's the review. You can go watch the preview for today's video, and you can see that we mapped all of this out before any of it ever happened. Hopefully that's helpful, and we will see you in the live trade signals.